after practicing law for just a couple of years, I had decided I wanted to be more full-time in the business of actually making projects, and went to United Talent Agency, where I worked in the television packaging department and worked on some of the projects in the early stages of The Sopranos, and worked with Dick Wolf and quite a few other A-list type of projects. And then I went to Sony Pictures, to a film company there called Signature Films, where I was co-director of development as well as heading business affairs there. In the development capacity is basically where you try to find projects, shepherd them through, get them made, get financing, basically doing what everybody else is trying to do, is get money to make a project. I always start any kind of talks that I've done with talking about the story, and so I'll talk a little bit about what I call the story and the heart of any project, and then talk a little bit about I guess what the title of this is kind of navigating the waters of agents, managers, and lawyers with regards to talent and trying to get a project made, and kind of finishing up in talking about the importance of talent in getting a project made. And I always start with one of the earliest stories. When I first moved down to Los Angeles, I had the opportunity, very lucky opportunity, through an attorney that I knew in the sports business, to meet with a woman named Laura Ziskin. And Laura Ziskin at the time was head of Fox 2000, and she was and is one of the most prolific movie producers around, and producing films like Courage Under Fire and Pretty Woman. And the talk that I had with her really opened my eyes to what the business is really about. And the business is about storytelling. And trying to get a film made is a very difficult thing, mainly because every year there are about 50,000 scripts written that are WGA registered. Those are just WGA registered scripts. There's probably twice that number that are not WGA registered. And then every book that's written, fiction and nonfiction, every magazine article, newspaper article, now there's blogs. There's millions of stories out there, besides all of the stories that, all the scripts that are written that are already there from years before, that go back to the 1940s and 30s and 20s, that are just housed by the studios that they already own. And and she basically said, of those movies, of those scripts that are written, there are maybe 400 that actually get some form of green light. So you're looking at, thank you. So you're looking at, through the studio system, maybe 50 movies that are being made, 75 movies, I don't know what the actual numbers are. Of those movies, now back then, double digits was really what people were looking for. Can my movie get, can a movie get into theaters and actually make double digits? And can they possibly run to, the brass ring, which is $100 million? And of the movies that come out, you might see one or two movies in the year that are actually going to break that brass ring $100 million mark. So getting a movie made is very difficult, and I've met hundreds, if not thousands, of people who say, I have to make this movie. And that's the only type of passion that's actually going to get a movie made, whether it's through the studio system or not through the studio system, whether you have an agent or you have a producer attached or you have a director or whoever you are. The only thing that's going to get the movie made is you and your passion towards that story. There's lots of different ways to sort of break in the business, working at an agency, pushing a mail cart, moving your way up. If you have lots of money, then of course, if you're Mark Cuban and you want to produce movies, then you throw a bunch of money and you're a movie producer. If you can't do that, then you have to start out the regular way. And most filmmakers, most people who are directing or writing, have started somewhere else, and generally that place is television. And I think a lot of people sort of skip that way, skip the thought of that. But You know, Joss Whedon, who has Buffy the Vampire Slayer, who's the writer of Toy Story, who's the writer of one of the writers on Mission Impossible and Twister, and you know, it goes on and on. He is absolutely considered an A-list writer. Started out on the Roseanne Show. This is, you know, this is the way people break in. It's like any other business. You start at the bottom and you kind of work your way up.